Today, the running mate for MPP, when they went and introduced him to Otumfuo, Otumfuo said, "Oh, we brought you up because you are part of the Menchia Palace. And we know we brought you up well. But we hear you are arrogant. We hope that you prove people wrong." As soon as he left there, not up to 3 hours, he went and said, "Mo Kwame Nkrumah no." That your Kwame Nkrumah, that is a very disrespectful thing to say about the founder of this nation, and especially a founder who is no longer alive. You can insult me because I can respond because I'm alive. But you don't say, in our tradition, you don't say evil things about the dead. You don't disrespect the dead because they are not alive to respond to you. In the past, ghosts were powerful. As he said that Nkrumah's ghost would have knocked him down. But now, the ghosts have all become disarmed. And he can't hide the arrogance. I was just watching a video yesterday, and he was talking about the past president. He said Rawlings, and he said Kufuor, and somehow he even forgot Professor Mills's name. And then he said, Bakuna Wewuno, that one who died. I mean, how can you talk like this? Very disrespectful, very insulting. Bakuna Wewuno, the one who is dead. Arrogance is like pregnancy. Whatever you do, it will come out. This ACHIAA port has been used as a red herring by this government for a long time. At one point, they said a feasibility study. They came and brought some white people to walk around there and all that. They brought some things measured. I can assure you that they have absolutely no intention of delivering a ACHIAA port. They wanted to do like they did with the Boankra Inland Port. And my understanding is that they were going to take some money from Gapoha to come and build the administration block. You don't have warehouse. You don't have, what do they call that water thing? Journalists. You don't have breakwater to allow ships to come in. And your first priority is to build administration block. The same way they built Boankra administration block, how many years ago? Eventually that building has deteriorated so badly, it's no longer fit for purpose. The first thing is, let's see the feasibility study. Every project starts with a feasibility study. And so if you say you've done the feasibility study, let us all look at it and see what is in the feasibility study. That is the first step. And then once we take that first step, then we go to the next step. But this government has turned the whole thing on its head. They have a port director, they have land cruisers, they've employed staff, they are paying them when you have only 2 containers standing on the land and a signboard. And so we would reprioritize it. One, I want to become president, and one of the first things I'll ask for is, show me the feasibility study for the ACHIAA port. And when we have seen the feasibility study, we would let you see it yourselves. And then based on that, we can take it from there. If there must be a port, there must be a specialized port for something. Because you have Tema, you have Lomé. And so if you're having an intermediate port, is it going to handle the same cargoes that Lomé and Tema are handling? You know, so those are all things that we need to look at. And when we have looked at it, then we can determine how we move forward. And so they should stop playing politics with it. Let us see the feasibility study. Let us see the design of the port. And when we have seen that, we can move forward.
As Mona arrived at the party headquarters, he was flanked by party leaders and key allies. The atmosphere was charged with energy, chants of support accompanied by waving of party flags and banners filled the air as supporters cheered on their candidates. Speaking to the media after filing, he expressed concern over the delay in finalizing the voter register for the party's upcoming Congress. He lamented that the Congress's committee delay in implementing the register was hindering the party's preparations for the elections of the flag bearer and other key positions.
I'm going into a contest and I'm supposed to know the total number of delegates that I'm dealing with. I know that the Constitution requires that 14 people per constituency, plus their member of parliament, plus any national executive that ordinarily resides in that constituency, plus 14 members per region, and so times the 17 national officers. When you aggregate it, I do know that we are having in excess of 4,242. But I have to see the voters' album to see who and who are there, whether they are indeed members of our party or they are not. And so I am eager to get to see the full components of that. And that is why I am saying that as of now, we should have it, because we have gone through the processes. The party delayed in opening up nominations. They just opened nominations on the 12th. And I picked my nominations on the 12th. In 4 days' time, I have been able to get the 75 endorsement plus that they are seeking for. Just yesterday in the evening, some other candidates are not able to get the 75. So they quickly called me to say that presidential candidates should reduce the number to 32. And when I had already finished compiling my 75, if you are struggling to get common endorsement, then how are you going to contest the national elections? I have been fully ready to lead the people of Ghana out of our current economic difficulties.
Mona took the opportunity to outline his vision for Ghana, emphasizing his commitment to revitalizing the nation's economy. He also pledged to prioritize the promotion of indigenous Ghanaian languages in education and governance, aiming to preserve the country's rich cultural heritage.
Don't forget that 32 years of NDC and MPP has sunk youth confidence in this country. They need a redeemer. Bernard Ambata Elemona has come to rescue the people of Ghana, to ensure that no Ghanaian is born into debt, but you are born into wealth, to ensure that our Ghanaian languages will be taken seriously. How do you come and tell me that when a Chinese man comes and fails to speak good English, you applaud him? When a French man comes to fail to speak good English, you applaud him. When a Russian fails to speak good English, you applaud him. When a Lebanese fails to speak good English, you applaud him. But when a Ghanaian fails to speak English, you start to mock him. Let our local languages become languages that have strength. No country in the world has been able to develop without a connection between their languages.
The National Executive Committee of the People's National Convention confirmed that the party's Congress, during which the flag bearer and other national executives will be elected, is scheduled to take place ahead of the December 7th general elections. The Congress is expected to be a pivotal moment for the PNC as it sets its sights on expanding its influence on national political stage. Stanley Koblako for Pan African News.
Once again, and welcome to the newspaper review segment here on Pan African Television on the Good Morning Africa show. We're live from our studios 48 Wanaka Street, Abilinkwe, Accra. We also watched across the African continent, 46 African countries, some parts of South America and Europe. My name is ACHIAA, sitting in for Kwame Sudan. And today, of course, as usual, we're going to have insightful conversations. So if you want to be a part of the conversations, kindly send your submissions to 0599-919-802, 0559-919-802. Thank you and welcome once again to the show. I'm going to introduce my guests and I'm also going to share with you the topics so that you can send in your submission and any additions as well. Now, let me start with the formidable woman on my right. She's in the person of Rodalyn Ayana of the movement, Alliance for Revolution,
of which the movement is
the movement is a part of. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And also to the gentleman on my far right, Yirmambo Moses.
That's right.
He is former CPP national organizer.
That's right.
Good morning, Moses.
Good morning,
welcome.
my dear. Well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Today you are not rocking any paraphernalia. Like,
in fact, I'm even surprised. I was even...
like Auntie Ro is
in
rocking
fact,
this morning.
What shocking me, pa. If I knew this, I would have come in full regalia.
You know?
But you know, for her, this can be hanging around her neck.
Yeah.
But her hat is always in the red cocker. And there's nothing she can do about that. This can be hanging around for
I mean,
people to
how
see.
can you prove
But
that?
within her heart,
No, but
it
the
is
Bible
always
says,
the red cocker.
the Bible said, in the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Don't worry,
So,
this one is
this is a manifestation of the abundance of the heart.
That deep within her heart is still the red cocker. And it's synchronizing. She knows it. She's still a starch synchronized. That's are you not an synchronized? Of course.
Get out of it.
Yeah, she can't. I didn't know it's in her blood. Oh.
But in our current political dispensation,
well,
she has
maybe
chosen to.
some few issues have led her there. Don't be surprised in a few years to come, she will revert back to the original.
We'll see about that.
Don't be
All right,
surprised.
Moses. Thank you so much for joining us, and you're welcome once again. Now, the topics we're going to touch on this morning will border on 68 million people reeling from drought in Southern Africa. And this was covered by the Daily Graphic. Make your promises a reality now, as Vice President Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman Bawumia. Also, city free fall. Stakeholders want urgent action to slow depreciation. And we'll see if there's time. We're going to touch on the voter exhibition that is going to begin today. Thank you once again for choosing us. This is the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television, the Good Morning Africa show. Now let's get right into our conversation concerning the drought that has hit the southern part of Africa. Now, tens of millions of people in southern Africa are suffering from what is known as the El Nino-induced drought, which has resulted in lack of crop and livestock. And not only Southern Africa, we are also recently hearing that this similar situation is being experienced up north here in Ghana. What picture does it paint for us in this season as Africans and here in Ghana as a whole? Auntie Ro, I start with you.
Okay. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning to Mr. Alan Shramateng, wherever you are. Victory is ours. You know, the situation is a global issue. You know, it's not just in Southern Africa or in West Africa or whatever. We are all suffering. It's all over globally, Chile, everywhere. Some of it is self-induced. Some of the African problems are self-induced. El Nino, or whatever it's supposed to be, the phenomenon that brought this issue about, has left so many of us, it's caught us unawares. So somehow, governments have not been able to put in place certain strategies that will be able to alleviate the sufferings of those people who live in those almost desert areas. South Africans are suffering because of this droughts, food insecurity, food insecurity, and that comes also with unemployment and stuff, because for some people they are either farmers or they breed cattle, you know, those areas especially, livestock. So if we are to look at it critically, we can see that not only is it a grave problem for us, but it's also actually affecting us as humans, because we need to be able to feed ourselves well. We need to have good quality water to drink, and all these things are not available. If you look at all the issues that have been battling the African continent lately, starting from Kenya, where they went on the demonstrations, Nigeria, it's all had to do with food costs, rising costs of living. And all of it was based on this drought issue. No rains. No rains means no crops, and no livestock as well. The same goes for the northern parts of this country at this time. withered crops, maize farms, millet farms, sorghum farms, and all that's all been withered. And it's so annoying to sit back and say that you recognize a solution to the problem, which was the Bagre Dam, you know, at least being caged in with the Kwalugu Dam to be able to get irrigation going to save our people up in the north. As I speak to you, the Bagre Dam, I don't know whether it's yesterday or maybe you're going to open it up, and the water is just going to go to waste. It's going to just create havoc for people. And this thing has been going on for years. And then we decide that we are going to build Kwalugu Dam. And then somebody decides that $12 million of that money should just go for nothing. You understand? Then you ask yourself, why is it that as Africans, we cannot sometimes see these things as very grave issues that border on human lives, you know, and the very people that you say you govern? Why do we have to do that to ourselves? Because if you're looking at the northern sectors, for instance, for our country, you look at the supposed building of warehousing, the supposed building of dams that we have not seen, that have dried out, the supposed building of so many other infrastructure. All these things, if they were properly done, if the dams were not dugouts, and if the warehouses were at the places that they should be, maybe we wouldn't even be experiencing this thing so much. But because of corruption, people have been able to just squander the money and nothing has come out of it. South Africans are crying also because somehow they are also experiencing it. In fact, I was watching Sudan, you know, with its problems of war and all that, famine, and then now cholera. You can just imagine. So you're coming to Congo and you have imports. It's like Africa at this moment is having a problem, a very serious one. And we are looking at our governments and our leaders to be able to solve some of these issues for us. But what do we see? All that we see is corruption. It's corruption and corruption. They're not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's look at us. Greenhouse effects. It's one of the things that is supposed to have caused these things. Look around us. We are destroying all the environment around us. All the trees, we are destroying them. We are cutting down trees for concrete. You understand? We are talking of floods. We are talking of floods in Accra and other parts. In fact, recently I saw floods too, I think in Boko. Real bad floods. And we are asking, so we can't make use of the water. No one is sitting down to plan. City planners, what are they doing? Environmentalists, what are they doing? With all this rainwater that is going, we can't even harvest rain to use for anything. You understand? And then you talk about Galamsey, our water bodies. Yes, you can't even leave Galamsey out with all the money, illegal mining, and all that. Major canker. And it's all lack of political will to deal with the issues. Sometimes I walk and I've had to stop sometimes and scold people for using treated water to wash their gates, you know, and to water their plants. I said, why do you do that? People can't even get water to drink. And here you are in the morning, you actually use soap to wash your driveway, you know, and then use treated water to wash it off. When other people, the fact that you can afford it doesn't mean you should waste it. You understand? And these are things that we must be able to do. Our architects, our builders, everybody, we need to sit and really find a way to curb the water situation. Because the next wars that will be fought will be water wars. It will be water wars. Because somehow the water situation is such that availability is getting smaller and smaller. Are you getting me? And river bodies are drying up. And that is aquatic life, you know. So we are losing aquatic life. So today fish is expensive, and you don't understand. So I think that as a people, or as Africans, we should all come together and work harder. I'm happy that the African Union is seeing to something like that, and we hope that by 2063 we should be able to get something that would help us all to move on.
All right, Gilimambo, let me come to you. Now, you know the saying that a hungry man is an angry man.
Of course.
I mean, eventually, when we run out of livestock and crop and there's food insecurity, it turns out to be, it will result in things that we don't even want to talk about right now. Tell us, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so once again, good morning.
Erefua.
Yes, have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yes. 83.
No, I was.
The one that was hunger strike.
I was hunger.
Myself and I were not born. Oh, were you born? We get to hear stories.
So that was this fish, very puffy eyes.
Okay.
They call it a reefer. We'd never eaten it. Ghanaians, like, whenever they got it, they put it back into the sea.
Really?
Oh, yes. But
why is it that?
It was scary. It looks funny. Very eyes, it was called a reefer. And we all had to eat it. And for the first time, we were looking for stockfish from Nigeria. Can you imagine? This was a drought where you'd have to queue. Ghanaians, we've been through it too. You queue when the kinky is on the fire.
Yeah.
And you wait for it, or you go and buy the.
We don't want to see that.
We don't want to. Exactly.
Never again. Never again. So yes, once again, very good morning to all my comrades across the country. This issue about drought, yes, as Senior Comrade Rhoda has put it, it's concern. It's a concern to we, the people of Africa, all because African leaders or African government, we fail to plan. There's no planning in our architecture. We don't plan ahead. Look, when you take the Ghanaian situation, we all know about climate change and how it's going to affect the northern sector, most especially. But what have we done about irrigation farming? Nothing. The whole of the northern sector, they farm only once a year. Can you imagine if there was an irrigation system? Then it will enable them to plant or crop around the whole full cycle of the year. That would double or even triple what we have in cereals coming from the north. But our government have failed. Since the great Osajifo himself planned this kind of irrigation system, no government since the First Republic has tried to even venture into this. This Paralugu dam we're talking about, it is not today. It has always been on the table. Government after government, NPP, NDC since 92, they have failed to put this into order. And I don't understand it. A simple dam that will give livelihood to the people of the north. You are failing to put priority to it. You see? And they can now come back and tell us.
Extensively to all of us.
Of course, yes, precisely. And they will turn around and come back to us that we should vote for them again. Some of us will not take that. And we will ensure that the good people of the North shouldn't take that from the NDC and the NPP. They felt that woefully since 1992. Now, what it is that when you look at some parts of Africa, because of climate change issues, normally people will presume that for drought, we should be looking around the northern sector or the Sahara Desert area. But because of climate change, things are changing. Even our parties in Ghana now, you could see that it has changed. When we used to have rainy season, it's now shifting. Yes, so this is where African leaders are to sit and plan. As Auntie Rhoda said, how do we even harvest rain? Look, in my secondary school, Opokuwari School, all those buildings, even my house, St. Luke House, and all those 8 houses in Opokuwari School, now I know they are about 12, built 1952, 1954. They had a system of storing rain. So you see at the top, there are channels. So when there is no water, we just go and open it. You see a lot of water, all underground water. You see it. So there was nothing like water shortage in Opokuwari School. Because when there is no water, and we just open our reservoir, the whole place is filled with water. All what we have to do is to use Dettol to make sure that at least, that is it. So, but fast forward, the hostels they are building now, where we have even modern technology, they are not able to even do this. I don't get it. When I went there the last time, the new houses, very sophisticated houses, but I realized that they couldn't even have that system, that water storage system. They didn't have it. So I was telling myself that, what is happening to us? It's in 1952, 1954, houses were built with this kind of architecture that they could store water. And fast forward 2020, 2021, new sophisticated hostels were built on secondary schools and they cannot incorporate this technology. Hey, then what is happening to us as a nation? We are not thinking. Meaning that our forebearers, they were thinking. We are not. Surprisingly, we are not. So for me, I believe that this is something AU should take seriously. Because look, for food, it's a fundamental thing. If you go hungry, as you say, you misbehave. And no matter who you are, when you go hungry for some few weeks or months, look, you will start having funny ideas. Then you'll be thinking that if somebody has it and I don't have it, yes, I want to attack you and also be able to also feed my family. So this is what is happening. So I hope that we find a lasting solution to this. It's all about planning. The world is changing. Climate change is there. So we have to find formulas to ensure that, look, even when the drought, when they hit us, we have to find a mechanism to mitigate it. At least for some time, we should be able to survive even a year or more if there is serious drought in this country. But as it stands now, if any of those things should hit us in Ghana here, we cannot survive it because we don't plan. And Chiroda mentioned storage facilities, silos. Some of our silos are even lying there. You go to Tema, they were supposed to store cocoa and other things. They're not even using them. You see, and government should make those things a priority to strategically place these silos. Because if you're able to plant and farm around the year, then you have excess. Where do you store your excess? That is why in Ghana food is so expensive. The standard of living in Ghana is so high when it comes to eating food. The places like Burkina, Mali, look at their lands. Our northern parts, which is upper east, upper west, our lands are far better and more fertile than theirs. But
the suppliers
with onions. What the hell is happening to us? What is happening to us? And when you go there, you realize that food is cheaper than Ghana.
Lots of irrigation.
Why? We are not thinking. So for us, we'll lay the blames to African government, and when we bring it to our local parameter, we'll lay it at the doorstep of the NDC and the NPP, which Gabriela will have to accept because they failed us woefully since 1992.
All right, thank you so much, Lumambo. We'll welcome Gabriela Tete. She just joined us. And she's the NDC Central Regional Communications Officer. Good morning, Gabi.
Good morning.
Hi, Mama Bear.
You have to announce this on TV.
Yeah, everybody has to know. Welcome. It's been a long time. Where have you been?
Central Regional.
Campaigning.
Yes, I've been on the grounds doing all kinds of stuff. I went there to try and help with our visibility. For the last few weeks, I didn't know that I had so many talents. I found myself building billboards to all kinds of stuff.
Hidden talents.
I swear. And just this past week, I found out that I could also be a fabric designer in addition to that. So it's interesting.
Very interesting.
But I've been in Central Region working, trying to lay the foundations for
ahead of the
December polls and a massive win for the NDC in the region. You know, I don't like doing things and posting on social media because I don't particularly like doing things to draw attention to myself because of physically the way I look. Since my childhood, I've always been bigger in my class, taller in my class, fairer in my class. So I never had to fight for attention. So I don't do things for attention. So sometimes when people are like, "Oh, it's been a long time I saw you. Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Where were you hoping I'll be?" You know. But let me say a good morning to you. A good morning to Auntie Rhoda. You're a mambo.
That's right.
You know, I thought we were going to start off on a good note, until he concluded with bashing NDC, NPP.
Oh, Charlie, but they have been a problem.
As it stands, EC is exhibiting register. You don't even have a presidential candidate.
That one it will come. 31st, we have a presidential candidate.
Gabriel, I'm going to go there. Let me take your.
But the problems are real.
Let me take a few messages from our viewers on WhatsApp. This one's coming from. He says, please, good morning, Osei. Good morning to you and your panelists. Please, I'm Festus from Somenya. Please kindly help me speak to Baumia and Napo. That they have deducted our money, teachers, to supply us laptops. And up to now, we are in primary sector. We in the primary sector have not received ours. So it will help them to stop saying that it is possible because we are ready to help them to campaign and lose massively, and it will shock them that they should remember when the same shop collapsed. All right, so we are going to read more messages, but let me take Gabriela's submission on the drought that has hit Southern Africa and also recorded here in Ghana.
It's a sad news, actually, but it's not a conversation that we've not had countless times on this platform. We all know the consequences of global warming. What we all like to now call in diplomatic circles climate change.
Yeah.
And that's a diplomatic way of looking at it.
But in actual fact, it is something that we've been talking about for many, many years, and it was called global warming. And I think that we have to go back to the old name of global warming to see that what we are discussing is a very serious issue. The whole world will go and gather under an umbrella called COP26, COP27, COP28. Every single year, we're going for one forum or the other to go and have these conversations. And the fact of the matter is that sea water is still rising, the ice is still melting, land degradation is still ongoing. There are so many communities where, because of pollution, those communities are no longer habitable. And there's so many things that is causing the world to get warmer. And these are the consequences of that. What is happening in South Africa, there's a phenomenon in the Latin America area that they call El Nino and La Nina. The opposite of El Nino is La Nina. And what South Africa is experiencing now is El Nino. So it used to happen more in the Pacific Ocean. When the weather heats up, ocean water heats up. You know, typical old school geography classes, they'll tell you evaporate, cloud forms.
Yeah.
But this time, when it evaporates, it's amassing cloud, but there's no water forming. So it's holding on the heat. And then as the globe is rotating gradually, the wind is moving that heat around wherever the path of that phenomena is. So with time, we've discovered that it now crosses the Atlantic Ocean, where it gathers more heat. Because we have this vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean from Latin America. Latin America, I'm referencing South America to West Africa. So it's amassing more heat. Sometimes it rains in the sea, sometimes it doesn't. And it carries all that across the continent, across Africa. And as it is traveling, it gets heavier and heavier. In some cases, when it becomes too much for the clouds, luckily rain will fall. But that is also going to cause severe flooding. So you're either dealing with extreme heat or you are dealing with flooding. And this is what El Nino does. And this has been a phenomenon that has been there for many, many years. But now, as I said, it has now traveled from a Latin American phenomenon and it's now finding its way across the globe. I didn't hear Auntie Rhoda's submission. I was climbing up the stairs when she was talking, but I got a bit of Yermambo. Yeah. And when he made reference to the AU setting up and all that, in fact, if there was a way for us to reshuffle all the leaders of this world, all of them have to be reshuffled. Everybody has to be reshuffled on the issue of climate change, because everybody has failed. Everybody has failed. And the data goes to show that they're talking and every day coming to give theories about this thing. We are not changing anything. The drought is still ongoing. Farmers are losing their fields. Families are impoverished, going hungry. In this South Africa thing, I think I heard in the news quite recently, the humanitarian, it's almost like a humanitarian crisis now, and they try to raise some money to give to these families, and that also didn't work out because they didn't get enough donations.
How do you even sustain that?
Everybody's suffering. Because everybody's talking about this thing forever, and there's no solution. Because if you come and tell me that the earth is now heating up and islands, and in fact the most at risk are island nations. Nations like Fiji. And Fiji is now the poster child of what a climate crisis can do, because Fiji, aside the fact that it is a nation, it is also a people that hold a culture and a history. And there's a tendency that they are going to be wiped out first because of the low sea level of the demography of their lands. Exactly. So it's a very serious issue, and the conversation doesn't change. Here in Ghana today, our northern farmers are crying because the rains have failed them for the last 5-6 weeks. And what's the solution? We have sat here and spoken about Palugu Dam for God knows how many decades now. It has been promises and money chopping. The NPP, in their manifesto, promised to construct Palugu. The last time we heard, some 12 million had been given to a contractor for mobilization, and the only thing was a heap of sand and some cement blocks. Where's the rest of the money? Where's the project? In this manifesto that they went to read a few days ago, it is also mentioned there again. Something you budgeted for, paid mobilization. It is now found expression in your manifesto again. So what happened to the one that was budgeted? It has been nothing but failed promises and disappointment. Today as we speak, I think today is 19th or 20th, Bagre is supposed to be spilled today or yesterday or today or tomorrow. So farmers who also have whatever little they have in their farms are now having to harvest as fast as they can, because at short notice they're going to open it and dams are flat. It's going to be the normal occurrence in the north again. The conversation keeps repeating itself. And I always say that one thing that irritates me the most is for me to talk about the same thing over and over and over again, because it makes me feel, it's not even the painful, it makes me feel like a fool. To repeat the same things over and over and over again, but you know what the solution is. But we have a leadership catharsis in this world, leadership failure in this world. And that I was listening to the US, since they are also having their campaigning, and they were making references to things like we have to save democracy, and democracy can't fail. And I'm saying in my head, look, if you go and elect idiots to be president, what you are going to get is an idiotic government. If you go and vote for people who are anti-progressive, people who all they do is to brag, and you don't have people who are actually builders, my dear, we are not going anywhere. I saw a video years ago on Palugu, what Kwame Nkrumah had started with Palugu, and that basic engineering still exists. But if we are able to even put in the actual construction, because we are more interested in chopping the money, whatever they have managed to put in there currently, what can we do to revive that engineering and see how we progress to building the rest? Today, farmers are going to lose their livelihoods. Whatever they're able to harvest, they may earn something on it, they may not earn something from it. He mentioned about irrigation. When you come to Central Region, in Gomwa West, we have a whole irrigation system that was created there by the NDC. And as I campaign around, and I'd heard about it, but never really seen how the whole thing really looks like. So I actually went to view it. And I'm like, look, there's so much that exists in this country that we can leverage on, even despite the challenges, and still make progress. But we must also be accepted of the fact that people who are voted into power are voted to solve problems. And if you sit down and we have a leadership catharsis like what we have had over the last 7 years, this is the problem. 2024 December, we really have to change government in this country.
But the government doesn't acknowledge the fact that there's a problem, and even if they have seen problems or have heard the people roar out problems, for instance, Honorable Nkrumah, he made a statement that 7 December is not about ACHIAA, but it's about finding solutions to our problems. That means they know the problem. So where are we finding the solutions?
The solutions is supposed to exist with the political parties that are vying for power. He, in particular, he's a very intelligent young man. He's a friend of mine, so I know he's intelligent. He's a very intelligent young man. And as he said, the next election is not a zoo because we have problems that need to be solved. And it's about finding the solutions to those problems. But when you were in government for 7 years, almost 8 years, and your time is almost up, and you are still telling me problems that you said we were going to solve in 2017. After 7 years, you haven't solved that problem. And you are still telling me there's a solution. Where is the solution when in 7 years you've not been able to perfect that solution? Should I risk and gamble? Should I risk and gamble on you another 4 years? Then that means you're only going to waste my time. You're only going to waste my time.
All right, Gabby, thank you so much. Let me read a few messages that keep coming. This one's from Emmanuel Martin Oredu Obrimpong from Kweutafo. The manifesto, long awaited by Ghanaians, is out. The manifesto of all possibilities. It is possible manifesto. Hope, joy, jobs, and all-inclusiveness manifesto. The MPP has gotten it right when it comes to manifesto message and delivery. Ghanaians know the rate at which the MPP has helped Ghana and are ready to cushion another tenure after 2024 to make Ghana the country everyone will love to be in. Let's build together by supporting the manifesto to impact lives in Ghana by voting NPP's Dr. Baumia to break the 8. Right. Don't forget to send your messages on 0559-919-802, 0559-919-802, which brings us to our next topic, and it has to do with Professor Nana. She's saying that Baumia should make his promises a reality as vice president. We have heard, and recently his manifesto was launched, and several expression in there. Now,
Let's start with me.
Why?
It came from Nana.
yes. I should start with Gabby. Yeah, so the charge has been thrown to you. It's like your madam has spoken that Baumia should materialize all his promises while he's in government. And do you think that is the right thing to say now?
Were you expecting her to say anything different?
No.
What she said is the truth. Vice President Baumia, as I've just referenced his title, is Vice President Baumia, flag bearer NPP, but he's still Vice President Baumia. And he's telling us that when he comes, a lot of the policies that his government has been implementing over the last 7 years, of which he's a key member, the number 2 person in the government of Ghana. Akufo-Addo is number 1, he's number 2. The chief of staff is number 3. The ministers follow in that order. Baumia is number 2. And he's telling us that the things that he is now saying he's coming to change are things that his government has done over the last 7 years. And he doesn't approve of what his government has done in 7 years. So he wants to come to power to change those things, like betting tax, like scrapping e-levy, plethora of taxes. He now wants to reform the port to pair it with Lome Port, which is a duty-free port. And already it's like 60% of our revenues is dependent on Temahabo. So if we are going to make Temahabo free port, then where are we going to get those monies that we'll be using to develop this country and that we've used to peg loans? That's today we are indebted to almost 700 billion. Where are we going to get all those monies to go repay all those things that they have borrowed? The whole campaign of Baumia is like, I know Akufo-Addo has failed. I know we failed. But I, as an individual, I believe that I'm an intelligent man. I am a wise man, wiser and more intelligent than the government I belong to. So if you give me the opportunity now and I now have power, I will make all the corrections.
That's the meaning you make of his manifesto.
That's his campaign. If you vote me into power, I am going to change everything that my government has done. That is not popular with you. That's so strange, isn't it? And this is the message that they sell to all of us, because you see, as far as the NPP is concerned, we are gullible people. We don't really think through things. They throw things at us and then we quickly grab at it and we run with it because it's a trend. When I come, I'll build you one district, one factory. The factories, some of them are not operational, some of them don't exist. Some of them you go and actually see that you have a plain land with signboard, one district, one factory. People's factories have been labeled one district, one factory, and then the people will now go and put another signboard next to their signboard that says we are not one district, one factory. There was a factory on the Paul Road. When you are going to come to 25. Wow. When you are going to come to 25.
Interesting.
Where they are doing, I don't know whether they are doing a runabout or something. I'm not regular on that stretch. I travel like 2-3 times a year, but around that construction, there's a factory on the right side. They sell bread in front of it. You see a signboard that says one district, one factory. There's another signboard that says we are not one district. So this is a government that in itself was just a confused government, full of confusionists. And I'm not surprised that this is how the campaign is going. Look, this manifesto they want to launch, when you see the number of plagiarized...
make reference to some of the plagiarized content for our viewers. and where they copied those messages from.
I'll show you. I'll open it for you. When I saw it, I was like, oh Lord have mercy. Poor voters. We're in trouble.
All right.
It said graphic online. August 14, 2024. This is what Mahama said. He said the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has affirmed that his government will abolish the 10% betting tax, the COVID-19 levy, and the electronic levy when elected as president. This is the NPP manifesto. Number 3.
On Sunday.
Yes. Under number 3, point number 3, implement wide-ranging tax reforms. It says it has bullet points, and then reduce withholding tax for small-scale gold exports to 1%, then abolish the betting tax. That's also there. I'll give you a second one. This is City Newsroom, March 17th, 2024. The story is by Hamdia Mohammed. Mahama's spare parts import proposal, a game changer. Abosu Okai Spare Part Dealers Association. And this is what the article says, just a paragraph. It says, they view the suggestion of a fixed rate for spare parts importation as a political game changer, emphasizing its role in combating corruption at the ports and protecting the investment of their members. NPP Manifesto. And 2, our commitment to you. Point C. It says, stabilizing the prices of spare parts through the flat rate scheme for all importers policy, which will bring predictability and stability of prices of imported goods. I'll give you another one.
I think we've heard enough.
No.
Okay, then that should be the last one.
Another City Newsroom report by Helen Grace Ankoma and Godwin Akwete. This is May 2nd, 2022. It said we'll scrap burdensome e-levy when we win power, Mahama. This is NPP Manifesto. Again, another tax reforms. It says abolishing e-levy. Another one. Full text of Mahama's annual transformational dialogue on small-scale mining. This was May 15th, 2024. This is what NPP says. There are two, this document also found expression in the Youth Manifesto, because we have a lot of young people in Galamsey now, so we have to fix it into the Youth Manifesto. The NPP Manifesto plagiarized this suggestion, plagiarized the Youth Manifesto and put it in their manifesto. I was reading, I could give you a whole
I think we've heard it.
There's a lot, but there's this AI that apparently was used to scan the NPP Manifesto and our Youth Manifesto, and apparently the data came out that over 60% of the
60%
NPP Manifesto was plagiarized.
Anyway, all right.
So 1, they have no unique ideas. 2, the brains that were used to cause the problems that we are in today is the same brains that if you vote them back into power is going to be here. They have no solution to any problem. 3, and this is the main point on which I'm campaigning in December 2024. We need a change of government from NPP to another political party And the most credible one is the NDC. Because we have to hold the NPP accountable. Akufo-Addo Bawumia's administration will never be held accountable by Bawumia Napo administration. Because they themselves are part of this administration. And there is no way. Akufo-Addo once referenced a Bible text when he said, a kingdom that fights itself will not stand. There's no way that this administration will hand over to itself and go and prosecute its own. It will never do that. So, in the name of accountability and ensuring transparency in governance, that when people are elected into office, they do the right thing by all citizens, not run their government on nepotism, corruption, greed, mass syndication of state capture.
All right, Gabi, thank you for that submission. These messages keep coming through. Good morning to Pan-African TV. Dr. Bawumia is a scam. A Ghanaian should vote against him. Seth at the top from Ho. This one also says, good morning, Pan-African TV. The NPP Manifesto is a documentary of lies to deceive the populate of illiteracy in their party, who lost hope in their abysmal performance and incompetent government. The promise proposed in the manifesto is not realistic and reoccupied from their old document presented in 2016/2020, which is not fulfilled. Don't blame them. Solomon Hoya from Bong. Few more messages. Good morning, madam. Please permit me to use your platform to call on sympathizers and sympathizers of the NDC to go out there and check their names in their various polling stations, because it is very important, and that is where our victory for 2024 election will begin. From Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia should stop insulting our intelligence and credit us with the little respect we deserve in this country. He can fool some people sometimes, but he cannot fool all the people all the time. 2024 elections is going to be based on credibility, trustworthy, and honesty. And I am afraid Dr. Bawumia lacks all these credentials. Inshallah, we shall rescue this nation from the hands of the wicked. Ghana needs to be reset with experienced man like President Mahama and the NDC party. All right, please do keep your messages coming. Let me move to Ilimambo.
Yeah, very interesting development. In fact, look, our politics has been cheapened. Now, we are not surprised that the masses do not believe politicians anymore. They don't. Unfortunately, their actions, those in power, have made the masses see us as people who are not credible. Unfortunately. Despite with the CPP, the last time an improvement party was in power was in 1979-81. Unfortunately, the actions and the inactions of this government have made people to believe that politicians are liars. We are not credible. We don't tell them the truth. It's unfortunate. This AGYEKUM said, come on. You've been in power for 7 years. 7 good years, even hitting your 8 years. Now, you made a lot of promises. Prior to election 2016, you won elections. After 7 years, I can say you've not delivered about 80% of your promise. So if you want to even to show some credibility, what do? You have to go revisit those ones and tell them, look, this particular project or this particular policy, we failed to do it. So I want to have a real look at it. But you don't add more. What is this? And we have people, intellectuals, who are affiliated to the elephant clapping for this. I wonder what the hell is wrong with us. Come on, you failed. Just come out clear. Look, we promised A, B, and C. We were able to do only this. The other ones, I want to re-engineer it so that in 2024, when you give me the mandate, I can re-look at it. When you say that, people will have said, oh, at least he's being truthful. But no, not our politicians. They'll add more promises. To be honest with you, if our politicians since 92 are to deliver just about 10% of the promises, Ghana will be like heaven. Just 10%. Look at the promise since 1992, 96. Look at the promises given. What have we been able to do as a nation? As I said earlier, there is no plan. So it's free range. Every government comes and tries to solve it in bits, and we fail. Another government comes, will push it aside, try to solve it in bits, and we fail. Now, these things are about promises. And I'm saddened that our brothers and sisters in the NDC is also falling into that trap. Also giving more promises. Look, what is going to happen is that now it has become a challenge. One says I will do 60 ministers. Then the next day the other says I will do 50. Just trying to, one says that I'm going to give free, how do you call it, how is going to absorb the fees of tertiary students the first year. Don't worry. Maybe in a few weeks you will hear about them saying that you add second year to it. Don't worry, it will happen. That is what they are doing. Now it is only first years. Maybe 2 weeks or a month later, they'll even come back and say, oh, in fact, we've done our analysis. It is even possible to add second years to it. So that is it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it is not working. And I want Ghanaians to look at the system of governance that we've run since 1992. Whether it is working. It is not. So there's something fundamentally wrong somewhere. And we believe that it is the basics. And we are not revisiting the basics.
Now you said that if the fundamentals are weak.
Yes, and the fundamentals indeed are really, really weak.
They are broken.
Broken down into pieces. In fact, they have come to destroy all the fundamentals. And you come back and come and tell us we should give you another 4 years. Well, for me, it will never happen. And my strategy is very simple. I have to do everything possible to avoid or prevent the NPP from winning this election, and also block the NDC from also winning the election. And I tell you, when that happens,
who do you want to win?
You
don't have a president.
Am I right? But we are going to elect a presidential candidate.
But how many months more do we have?
They are going for the
You see, what happens is that before you even elect a presidential candidate, there's a lot of work that goes on. Because the numbers that you are seeking
but
for.
But that's the same way
all
these other political parties have gone
the numbers you are seeking for are from the polling stations. So if you don't put your house in order and you put a presidential candidate, and even in last 2 years, and you don't put your grassroots in order, you get zeros.
Right,
and that is the bitter lesson we've learned over the years.
Eventually, you have to have a presidential.
Of course, and we are saying that work of building the polling
whether
station,
it's the day before election, whether it is the day before election.
We are going to have that person, and I'm telling you that.
But we should put the person now.
The greater work is in the polling stations, and I'm telling you, 31st August. What's the rush? It's just about 2 weeks away. It's not even up to 2 weeks.
We have less than.
Don't worry. The fundamental work of building the grassroots and the police station has been done. So the days of old, where you hear CVP 0, CVP 5, NCP. Oh, why not? We've been given the register just yesterday. Hey, Charlie, we are not joking, though. And the EC, we will come to that topic if there is time. In fact, they striked us a little bit because we were expecting this letter, this register since last week. And we were pulling their legs, but now we have it. We are going to study it well. This time around, as I was telling to Rodas the other day, we have to find a way. The other alternatives. Even if, because getting polling agents and monitoring the elections is not a joke, it's very expensive. They have what it is, they have the money. We don't. So all what we can do is to team up with the other progressives so that we will also find a mechanism of monitoring the election. This election, anything the agro. Now, this promises issue. I believe that it's about time Ghanaians read through the situation.
Please wrap up first.
And know that we've been deceived.
We are way behind time. You didn't come on time. You did not come on time. You and Milimambo didn't come on time.
So that's what I
yes. Yeah.
For her, I want to change more of it. So now, I don't have a problem. They have come out with their manifesto. Having a glance through the manifesto, I have realized it is not addressing the fundamentals. It's just promises after promises. And that manifesto cannot even be implemented. It is a failed document. And I believe that any government who is serious in tackling the issues in Ghana have to go to the basics. And what are the basics? The basics is to ensure that we consolidate our agriculture and ensure food is cheap. Food is not cheap in this country. And what we look at the whole West Africa, Ghana has the highest standard of living. Why? Meanwhile, we have most of the resources in this country. Look at our land, so fertile. Even when we have cement, you can even see, how do you call it, maize even germinating from cement ground. They should tell you that, come on, we have very rich lands. So we feel the fundamentals. So any manifesto that cannot address that issue of the fundamentals, consolidating agriculture, making sure that we are able to link it to industrialization, and ensure that the basic things of life, rice, sugar, oil, fish and meat, those basic things, at least after 4 years of every government, we should see progress. That at least we'll be able to cut down our, imports about 20 or 30% from these products. But unfortunately, it is just shooting up, meaning that we are even giving credence and giving employment to other economies. And that shouldn't happen. And for us, can you imagine? And what is happening to us? And that issue is the crux of the whole matter. Why? Because those who bring in this chicken, these foodstuffs that make millions of dollars, they are the financiers. They have supported the umbrella and the elephant over the years. So they became them, they cannot have the boss to call them to order. But the Convention People's Party, we are tougher people. We make tougher decisions.
Right.
And we will hold the who by the horn and say, hey, enough is enough. Which Gabi and Co cannot do. Yeah.
But still, we are waiting for you.
Don't worry, the first August, you see everything live and colored.
You don't have a manifesto.
Maybe they do. They are yet to make it known to the public.
No, wait.
Organize national organizer. You are worried about the manifesto. Yes, we are launching our manifesto on Saturday in Efutu constituency.
And I'll launch mine in 3 weeks' time. Don't worry.
Okay. Back to back. Let me move to
NPP manifesto and the promises. So many of them. So many.
And the fact that it should be a reality.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of them I was wondering if he was living in this country, because some of them we've already seen before, giving teachers cars or making it possible for teachers to have cars. This is something that
this one is
yeah, it started off even by trying to let them bring their cars without paying duties and pay at least one car and all that. Then the promises of concrete roads that he made, we haven't seen, and he's still promising some more. You understand? And the most interesting one that I saw was afforestation, where we were going to grow plantain. And I said, growing plantain, why don't you add cocoyam to it? Yes, plantains. I mean, how do you do that? You know, and then you make it look as if plantain is a staple for everybody living in this country. Sometimes when they start making these things, they just let you know exactly where they're coming from. Very, very shallow. You understand? And they're thinking. And then I saw that majority of the numbers they are supposed to have created jobs, 2.3 million jobs, even though their youth say that it's 21 million jobs. And then you are asking yourself, I was looking through and it's like, if you look at the security agencies, some of them have been increased by 100%.
Wow.
Some more than, yes, some more than 100%. And I'm asking, what are we doing? You know, if you increase the number of prison officers by 100%, you ask yourself, you have not built new prisons. We are still jailing more people. And you are increasing numbers of prison officers. You are increasing numbers of immigration officers. We can make do with the military, peacekeeping quotations and things. Sometimes we don't have them, the men. So I can understand that. But the auxiliaries that you are just compounding, this is all at the expense of the states. And I'm asking myself, what happens to his toilets? No house in Ghana is supposed to have been left out, you know, to go without a toilet. We haven't seen there are still houses with no toilets.
But sister, the whole seashore is at
It's toilets. You see, that one promises, failed promise, common toilet as he put it. Oh yeah, we are mobile now. You know all that we didn't see baths. We didn't see the toilets. I passed through Agbobushi a few days ago. And I'm like, what happened to the 43 million that was supposed to have been put for sanitation together with the Odona desilting? You know, promises. These are promises that were made by you and your government. And you did not deliver. And you are still making promises. And you want us to believe that you are going to do anything different? It's just something that you've written down, you're coming to read to us. And then you start talking about digitalization. And I'm asking myself, how many Ghanaians really understand things about blockchain, computing, robotics, and all those things? And you just exactly, you just come bringing out words. You know, you've just got verbose things. You've just gone and picked things from the internet, and you've come to just put them there for us to read, so that people say, "What digitalization? No, yeah, dear pa." What is that? We are saying our great transformational plan is what is going to save this country. Our Greek policies are solid. Our job creation policies are solid. And this thing that NPP has done, apart from stealing our few points also, like they stole from NDC,
You know,
They
if
steal it from all
a
our
Traders Bank, you just
But
say
your
from Traders Bank,
manifesto is not
Traders Bank to SME.
No, I'm talking about the earlier versions. 2008.
Traders
Which one
Bank
did
to
they steal?
NSE.
All of them taking bits from everywhere.
You know, I keep reading, and I ask myself,
We'll cut them
I
out
say,
in the press
you
conference, don't
know,
worry.
they are supposed to have built so many things. I mean, they are supposed to have done so many things that we can't see. And I'm asking, where are they? Where are the staff? Baumia, I think he's a bit confused now. He's suddenly wondering whether he's actually vice president or just a flag bearer, like, you know, the rest of us who don't have political parties. Because you're a member of a government and you are the vice president. Now, if things were going wrong, because from the things that he's promising things that he felt that probably he said and the president didn't do. So, e-levy.
I don't believe that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I would have done it differently, but I advised. No, wait. And I advised, and they didn't do. No, I advised, and they didn't do. The best he could have done
As a vice president.
economic management chairman, was to have resigned. He should have resigned.
His aide said he was in support.
No, but he should have resigned.
How would he resign?
You know what?
In support of
You
it?
should have resigned.
Yeah,
All
that's why I
these
don't
things
believe
that-
when he says he's not in support.
Exactly. When you
Because
say
if
you're
you're an
not in
economist
support, you
and
should
your
have just
president is not,
resigned.
and you're not able to convince your president on economic principles,
You have
then
to
he
resign.
means
That's
that
the
the
principle. You
president
should have
doesn't even
resigned.
believe in you. We should believe in
You should have
No,
resigned, but he
it's
didn't. He didn't. So those kinds of things make it very difficult for us to believe in anything that is in that manifesto. It's just someone will say a summary of things that they should have done that they couldn't do and they have failed. So the best that we can do now is to go back to the drawing board. By doing that, let's start building Ghana again. Let's believe in the great transformational plan.
Right. Thank you, Auntie Rhoda. Let me read some messages. This one says, do these corrupt and dishonest NPP elements want to be praised for plaguing the economy into bankruptcy? God have mercy on these nation wreckers. Asanko, Santa Maria. All right, thank you, Asanko. This one also says, from Ishmael Wa, Old Traffic Light, a vote for Baumia and the promises in the MPP empty manifesto is a vote for the implementation of AGYEKUM. We will vote to rest Ghana and to ensure the youth get jobs through the 24-hour economy policy promised by visionary leader John Dramani Mahama. Greetings to the super heavyweight regional champion of Upper West NDC, Chairman Brunas. Okay, this one says, good morning, my dear. In fact, when you hear they are coming again, I mean the MPP, with their manifesto known as cut and paste, meaning when JM said 60, Baumia said 50, from Abu Ibrahim Tamale. No messages coming through. Good morning, Ohema and your panelists. In fact, the Baumia, and please be reminded that the phone line displayed on your screen isn't meant for calls, so kindly resort to sending WhatsApp messages or text messages on 0559919802. Thank you. In fact, the Baumia manifesto is written as if the party is in opposition. When I come, I will conceal this. I will counsel this. What prevents you from cancelling, reducing, or reviewing it now? Baumia and his team should not think that they own all the knowledge and all other Ghanaians are without knowledge and sense of judgment. Ghanaians are awakened now, and let's wait for December 7, and they will know that you cannot take the Ghanaian voter for granted. Asina Wilson in Bongo, inside Bongo, Upper East region. All right, let me read a few more. Unfortunately, there is no truth in Baumia. Stephen from Wager. Interesting messages. Okay. Right. Bawolaya is in the promised land. Very unfortunate. Christian Major from Takrady. Now, let's move on to our next topic for discussion. And it has to do with the cedi free fall, and stakeholders want urgent action to slow the cedi depreciation. Stakeholders have been gripped with fear that if we continue to look at the cedi the way it's falling, the way we are looking at it, then we'll be in crisis very soon.
Already in crisis.
Well, I mean, we are in crisis, but it's going to be.
We've been in crisis since 2021.
Yeah, we are going to be down flat.
We've been in crisis since 2017.
Yeah. So, Gabi,
Manifesto promise on
to take that first, yeah.
stabilizing economy. We shall stabilize the city. Baumia Takrade quote last Saturday, and yet for 7.5 years, after all his plenty lecturing on how to stabilize the city, he knew all the theories except how to implement it practically when he was given the opportunity as chairman of economic management team. Today he says that, oh, me myself, I was just the mate too, but mo first year the mommy, mo just year the mommy. I met him. We say Jumano, mini Jumano. You were acting president. Whatever Akufo was busily flying in the air. Nothing. Chairman of economic management team. Nothing. Oh dear. Now you say you are head of digitization. Digitization will stabilize our economy. That one too. Nothing. In fact, as for the digitization, let's put some things in perspective. I'm not going to go into the e-gov and those things. Baumia's only achievement that we can give him in digitization is mobile money interoperability. Yes. That is the only thing we can give him some credit for. And even that one, that was because the contract that was given under NDC, they came and abrogated, and they did it through gifts. That is why we can give him some credit for it. Interoperability. That's a
laudable idea. I mean,
but could you have done interoperability if there was no mobile money in the first place? Okay. And the question was, how do we even come by mobile money? As at the time of Atta Mills, mobile money was just something that the donors, these NGOs, were using to pay stipends to families that they are trying to do good to. Yeah. And then people heard that, oh, in Kenya, M-Pesa was huge. Yeah. So everybody started talking about mobile money, and MTN bought into the idea because everybody was waiting for Vodafone to bring M-Pesa to Ghana. And they were just wasting everybody's time. So MTN just caught on to it, started making noise that we want to bring in mobile money. Government saw that, okay, well, it's picking up in Kenya. It's a big deal in Kenya. So what do? We're going to have to change legislation. We have to go and bring in reforms into what they call offsite banking. So there are 3 different legislations that were changed just so that we could adopt mobile money. If those things had not been done, the technology had not been put in place, the regulation had not been placed for MTN to take off, what and how were you going to go about interoperability?
No, but Gabi had to start from somewhere.
The point is that if we are to weigh where the credit should go in digitization, it is the NDC under John Dramani Mahama, because that was when mobile money really took off in Ghana under MTN with 137 agents, 137,000 agents across the country. Look at the jobs, small businesses creation alone. These were little kiosks, as you see them, mobile money kiosks, 137,000 across the country. So if anybody can stand on digitization and claim credit for digitization, it should go to John Mahama, not Baumia. But back to the city, since that's what we're supposed to be discussing. I don't know what is trading this morning, but you know, the last time I was on air, I was on GTV, and we were having a conversation about this city. And I said, I think about 2 months ago, and I said that from now to the elections, nobody should anticipate that this city is going to gain any value.
Serious. Yeah. One depreciated by 72%
for the last quarter. So because I'm on the ground, I've not been paying attention to this statistics. But I'm not surprised because you see, people who put their monies into bond instruments and were disappointed are now holding dollar notes as a store of value, as their investment. And there are a lot of people who are now going in that direction, individuals especially. For businesses, this is the latter part of the year when people are looking for dollars to import for Christmas. And being an election year, they know that if they don't start hoarding now, by November, December, the currency is going to depreciate more. It's going to be more expensive for them to acquire the dollar. So they are gradually taking. And then what worsened the matter? Bank of Ghana came up with some policy that forex bureaus and the banks should only sell to people who have Ghana card or they can verify their ID. The people who are transacting this kind of loads of monies, they don't want their Ghana card details to be known. In fact, they themselves don't even want to be known that they are the ones doing this, because many of them are unbanked, they don't pay taxes, they run in the informal dark market segment. So they can't go anywhere with their cards. And so the ones who have the cards and are trading as businesses, as forex bureaus, as people who are into import, export, and these things, those credible ones, they are going with their cards, taking it and giving it back to those at the back end that you don't see. And they are the ones who are racking up the depreciation. So from now to December, dear, as I'm not a prophetess of doom, but you have to face reality. And when you face reality, you can solve your problem. But this currency, dear, I don't know how you can solve this problem. That theorists Baumia espoused 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. The application is not working here, as you can see. So, nobody should expect any change. In fact, if someone dashes you foreign currency, don't run ahead of yourself and go and change it. You should also hold it.
It's an investment.
Hold on to it.
Big investment.
Yes, you also hold on to it and you don't spend it. That's now your savings. If they dash you, say find the rest, you can go, especially the worst one is Naira. If they give you Naira, if they give you Naira, that one they should do no go and change it. But anything else,
dollar or pound,
dollar, euro. And fact is that I heard that it was yesterday or 2 days ago, the currency performed slightly better because the dollar was weakened on the international market, but it regained its strength again. And as I said, from now to the election year,
now it's 15.9.
Don't expect any drastic change in that. And that per history, we are yet to meet an economic management team and a government with a cabinet that has been able to bring our currency from high levels to become a stronger currency. We are yet to meet that government. So this current administration here, for the last 7 years, they have proven it to us that, as for their credit, they are the worst managers of the currency because they have no ideas how to manage it. Everything they do is to rather wake up weaken the currency more and rather strengthen the dollar. When you look at the debt that they have left for this country, much of those borrowings was done in foreign currency. So they themselves, they're also looking for foreign currencies to go and pay their debt. Luckily for them, during the debt restructuring program, they were given some clemency. So some of their debts are not being serviced, especially the bilateral ones. So they have some savings there. But there are still other debts that they are having to service. And they are demanding dollars to also go and do that. Yes, so-called gold for oil and all those strange things that he was pushing in the name of salvaging the dollar, none of them worked. I watched a video I posted on my Facebook just this done or last night about this new one with the PMMC gold refinery thing. And it was mind-boggling. I haven't really had time to really listen to the details of that.
We don't have it.
We buy from
a gold refinery.
We have Gold Coast. We have Gold Coast refinery, which is bigger than this one that they are doing. But what I found out was that this one, government is putting a chunk of the money, but government is only getting 20% equity in it. And the partner, the Indian partner, is actually a quarry firm. They're not even into gold.
Stone crackers.
Stone crashers. Stone crashers. And they are being given 80%.
Interesting.
80% equity in our gold. This government has to go.
All right.
This government
Gabby,
has
we
to
hear
go.
you. We hear you. Thank you so much. Shilbambo, let me come to you.
This city issue, look, I don't see the solution because it's not a short-term solution. But in the interim, there can be some drastic measures taken. But that one will not even send it downwards the way we want to see it. And in Ghana, one trend is that when things go up, it becomes very difficult for it to come down. And it's an economic theory that prices are sticky downwards, meaning that when they shoot up, it is very difficult bringing them down drastically. It will be in bits, which you will not feel that it has really gone down. So that is the problem. Now we have a situation where it is not only the dollar, all the major currencies have gained strength against the cedi. The pound sterling, the euros, the Canadian dollar, the yen, all of them, including the CFA. Now just last year, beginning of last year, it was like 18, meaning that if you wanted 10,000 CFA was 180 cedis. Now 10,000 CFA is 260 cedis. So you can look at it, look at the rates. And you see, when it comes to trading, most of our women also go to Lomé, Togo, because of the free port to go and trade and bring stuff here. So you could see where the increments are coming from, because your currency is so weak to the lowest minimum that it cannot compete in the international market. It can't compete.
But the danger that they're wiping out people's capital.
Of course, it is. Like, that's the danger. And you see, and I don't know why this is happening. And you see, they are just talking. They are not being bold about the solutions. And they'll be telling us about bold solutions. No, they are not being bold. As Gabby rightly said, I don't know what happened, and they brought this policy about this Ghana cartel. What it has rather done is to worsen the situation. Because as she rightly said, those who are doing those huge transactions, they will not take their Ghana cars to forest bureaus. So the forest bureaus are really dealing, sometimes those who even go there, just some minimum transactions. But the huge ones are done by the allergies at the black market. And you see, this black market thing has been existing for some time now. So is it that with all our national security apparatus and BNI, we cannot find a solution around it? Because they are holding chunk of the dollars.
The politicians are the ones.
Precisely, that's what I was coming to. All because we've realized there is the same politicians who have been giving these allergies the $100 million, the $30 million. So that's what I'm telling you, the solution, I don't see the solution.
It's not the politicians, so it's the bankers.
No, the bankers are one, and the politicians are holding money in this country.
Hold the money.
But you should know this. There's evidence of it where we saw one in my madam's house like that. We know it. They are holding money. And they are holding money. And they deal with these black market guys. I'm telling you, if you say you need $50 billion, these are large guys. They have how they call it, a unit.
They can mobilize.
They will mobilize it for you. But you will go to Fidelity Bank. They will call about 5 banks. They say, oh, we don't have it. Together, they can't give you 50 million. But Alaji, to do. They'll just make some calls to do maybe Accra, Flower. Your money is ready for you. Your money is ready for you. So, hey, I don't see the solution. Because the solution in the short term is a tough one. You need an iron fist.
Yes.
Iron fist, serious iron fist to be able to control this situation. And I don't think this government, they have it. They don't have it. They've lost it. Because they are parts and parcel of the whole cartel. So how will you be strong enough to be able to solve the situation? But in the medium long term. Pardon?
They should offload.
Of course, and they are not ready. As if they know they are going to lose power, so they are also holding on to it. Now, medium to long term, yes, there are things that we can do. And I spoke about some of them earlier. That most of the things that we bring into this country, we are just importing. And you need these dollars. So it's about time, drastically, we find a plan of reducing these imports. That is the only way that in the medium to long term, you can save your currency. If you don't plan and cut down the imports, it won't work.
It's less imports.
You see, it won't work. And I don't know why. Over the years, we know this. The LPP, they know this very well. The NDC also, they also know it. That this is the major challenge. So what are we doing about it? Let's put up a plan. And we are saying that, yes, we know the solution will not be in the short term. It's a medium to a long term solution. So if in 2017, they started with this arrangements, but now we have gone very far. But it's hard now, all because those who are engaging in those business are their financiers. And they can't bite them. They are rather protecting them. So, my dear, we have a long way to go when it comes to stabilizing our currency. The other strategy is to do IS, the import substitution, which we did successfully in the 1960s, where we made sure that most of the things that we import, we are producing them locally here in Ghana. That is a solution. And the style solution, it will take a government 4 to 8 years. So that is where the fear is. So this city thing, it's not going any moment soon. I'm sorry. It's even going to get worse unless there are bold solutions and governments are ready to go all out with an iron fist. And I can tell you in authority, both the NDC and the NPP, they don't have that iron fist. They can do fail hopefully in that regard.
Which iron fist?
Thank you.
You're in the country where every hotel is charging you dollars. That's for you to go and and rest. If today
not just hotels, Airbnb.
I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning. I've not slept since 2 o'clock. If my rounds today, I get locked out and I feel like I need a bed. I have to find some place to go and lay my head.
They charge you
They're going to charge me. No, but there are laws against that.
But they are not being enforced.
That's why I
There are some interesting messages coming through. Let me read that before I invite Auntie Rhoda in. The NPP party has destroyed everything in Ghana, including rendering people jobless. Imagine that the Upper East Regional Security Council, headed by the regional minister, took a decision to lift the ban on the 4 closed radio stations in Boko, only for the National Security Minister to refuse to direct NCA to bring the transmitters to the radio stations for operations. About 40 journalists are sitting at home doing nothing after the memorandum of understanding, the MOU, was taken. We are going to campaign against NPP party in the 6 districts if our radio stations are not back to operations immediately. From Boko, a manager of one of the radio stations, he says, you can call me if you need further information. Of course, we would love to call you on that subject. But this one also says, good morning, Pan-African TV and your panelists. The corruption government has not helped Ghana, and a mate of corruption driver, Nanado, will adopt his boss attitude. So Baumia being the mate, Nanado being the driver. So Baumia has nothing good for Ghanaians. Their manifesto cannot leverage Ghanaians and full of plagiarism. NDC parliamentary candidate of Talensi constituency, Honorable Daniel Dun Mahama, proposed to chiefs and opinion leaders of Talente about converting the E-block of technical training college when completed, which was embraced by all. But when Baumia visited the constituency, he told the people that the E-block will be used for training college when completed without any stakeholders consultation. Another stealing of ideas. All right, we're going to read more of your messages, but please do keep them coming as Auntie Rhoda makes her submission.
Okay. So, our fallen city. Unfortunately, we have become an import-dependent country. We import virtually everything. And it's really sad that when you drive around, all we see is shops, shops, shops. Not selling Ghanaian goods, but imported goods. And to the extent that you ask yourself, what's happening? So if we are chasing the dollar, and then all the shop owners are also chasing the same dollar, we are not exporting anything to bring back any dollars. But we are bringing in rags, I call them rags, because all these things you go and see, you wear them today, you wash them tomorrow, and they're out. And meanwhile, it's hard-earned money that we're using, you understand? So, and people will tell you that the rag trade is a good trade, because yes, the turnover is very fast and good. So, for us in the Alliance, we are saying that we can turn this thing around. And we can turn this thing around by making sure that we do the right things. For instance, we are importing, we've seen that the Ghanaian likes to import nice clothes, they bring them from wherever. So our cotton industry must be revamped. We must be able to make our own clothes. We must be able to grow our own foods. We must be able to bring back the poultry industry. We must be able to make sure that agriculture becomes the main issue in this country. Because when we are able to import these things and turn all the money out, then it means we are just failing. So if we grow our own food, process our own food, manufacture our own things, at the end of the day, we should be able to get some monies coming in. we are looking at a situation where at least we should have some laws working. You cannot just sit around and let all manner of people bring in all manner of furniture. You know, now we don't have a timber industry anymore, because even if you're looking for solid Ghanaian wood furniture, it's difficult to get. You're buying all manner of furniture that is coming from all manner of places that is not even durable, but it's expensive. So we have to be able to hold on to what we have. Okay, we have to do those things, and no matter what happens, as Ghanaians, it might hurt some people, but we have to bite the bullet. And if it means, at least for the beginning, cutting the importation of some of those things, so that we will find the substitutes locally. We don't have. You see, when you talk about sugar, for instance, you know how much we import? So much. But do we have to? I mean, we can eat our local foods for breakfast without. Cake and fish doesn't need sugar. And this doesn't need sugar. You understand? But we have made ourselves that it's tea and bread. So we depend on the sugar. You know, water is good to go. Gobe. And all that. It's good to go.
It's a matter of choice, preference.
No, it's not a matter of. Look, Nigerians are eating their local rice. We are importing rice. You understand? Nigerians are. It's not a question. Sometimes even in our homes, we decide what our children should eat. Even when they cry and they do what we say, no, this is good for you. Eat it, and that's how we should lead the people as a country. It's not a question of a matter of preference, because preference is hurting us. You understand? If you want to buy, when I was growing up, if you wanted to eat rice, you go and buy Uncle Ben's rice. Very expensive. Polished. You understand? Uncle Ben's. Polished.
No, it's not there.
It's not there anymore. Are you getting me? But the ordinary one would go and buy the local rice, and it was fine. 83, during the droughts, that was when they introduced polished rice to us. And since then, we've been in trouble. So these are things we can live with. And these are things that...
We were introduced to the rice master.
Yes, the rice master.
Yeah,
you understand? Yes. So these are things that we can do without. And the GTP, our Great Transformational Plan of the Alliance, has got all these things stipulated in. It's solid. We are giving you the solutions to some of these things just by trying as much as possible to make the Ghanaians see that as Ghanaians, we have to be able to abide by the things that we believe in. Right. You understand? So this dollar issue, I don't think is going to come down now. And right now, we have a problem. Nigerians or people around us are also coming in for our dollar because they found it to be very easy to get our dollar out.
All the neighboring countries.
All the neighboring countries are now coming into Ghana for the dollar. We are competing with other nationals for that dollar. As soon as the dollar gets into the Forex Bureau, other nationals go in there and scoop it, apart from our own nationals. So we must find ways of getting more dollars. And the only way we can do that is to be able to manufacture more, to grow more food and exports, you know, and to do the right things. We don't have to import so much chicken. We didn't used to know frozen chicken. It was just live birds. You know, Akuko foods. That's what we are eating, and it's all sickness.
It was interesting to find out even toothpick.
Toothpick.
We import
toothpick, yes. We import
from China.
We import everything. What is toothpick? Bamboo is all over the Western region.
He couldn't compete. He had no choice than to also go and start importing.
You see?
The conditions are not favorable.
Exactly. And then we were using our wood chaff.
Competition is too
much. We were using the wood chaff for our toilet rolls and all those things. Now what is happening? We are importing everything.
Yeah.
So we need to sit back and ask ourselves again if we really want this country to grow.
Serious.
Honestly, because no matter what happens, we have to bite the bullet. Some people will not like it, but majority of us will like it. And that's how we've got to do it.
Precisely. You see, and when it comes to one DYNF, the only successful one, which is a confit juice, you know, it is very good. So I learned in Ivory Coast, that is what they love most. Now,
it's pure juice.
That's good. Pure juice. So just recently, the prices have been doubling, and they say they don't want it anymore because of the conditions here. Now, if is forced to raise the prices, so when you took it back to the Ivorian market, if you rejected it now,
you know
because the increment is too much.
You know why? Because the mangoes that we are even getting, we have to import some of it from Burkina Faso. Yes, the mangoes.
It's so interesting.
But even charcoal.
But do you know how much that is?
Charcoal is exported.
The calipo size.
Yes.
Well.
That's why they are cutting the trees.
The solution to our depreciating currency lies within our 24-hour economic policy.
Yes, Baba.
We are going to give them.
You want trouble for yourself.
That's the solution.
Come farm in the night. So
I'm going to give you the opportunity.
There's agro-processing,
Okay.
there's manufacturing. It's an import substitution, export-led strategy.
They will say this about
It is
multiple.
going to
The
be
best one
chaired
is
by His
Angela
Excellency
Tinubu
John
have to do
Dramani
that
himself, because we are going on an aggressive export drive. We've signed on to Africa Continental Trade Agreements. We have AGYEKUM still standing. We have EU agreements. We have agreements with ACHIAA countries. And we want to stand on these protocols to push and export more of our products out there to earn more currencies. We're looking at...
No, if it comes to this one, it's who is the guru?
All right, I think the time for the pitching will come. But let me read this. Let me read this interesting message. It said, I heard DMB saying our port duties will be cheaper and better than Togolese port. How possible will Togolese port? How possible? If Togolese port is free, he is going to pay. Is he going to pay the importers? So I think that
taxes.
Yeah.
All the duties and other things. He has to
All right. So
and he doesn't have what it takes to do that. He should stop.
this one says from Prosper Gasu, Angloga, Volta region. NDC is not in power. Always concentrate on how CPP will manage to get a seat in Parliament and leave NDC alone. You remember this one is for you.
I know, but the can't insulate them because we are in a competition. She wants power, I want power. So I should leave her to
All right, Baumia has to tell us what the city has done and now talking of thinking about being president. These are big issues by Adam Salam, Upper East.
The city he arrested has now arrested you.
This one says, good morning, Madam Host and your panelists. Okay, I think I've taken this very one. Says, good morning, Ohima. Dr. Baumia lost his dignity the very day he said he will abolish e-levy and other burdensome and nuisance taxes. He should have resigned as a vice president honorably. At least that would have saved his image and dignity. It's too late now. No one in his or her right senses will vote for Dr. Baumia and the NPP. Enough of the deceptions and lies. What are all these lies? Stephen from Wager. It has been an insightful conversation, but we're going to wrap it up. We have a few minutes to wrap it up with the voters register exhibition that is going to happen. Is happening today. So Gabi,
You can start to do that.
No,
because
She made me jump to me.
okay, well,
Okay.
then let me start with you, Mambo.
Yeah, we are okay with it.
Okay.
For us.
okay.
Yes, for us. I mean,
They don't even know the people are
So
there.
this one is just wrapping it up. This one is just wrapping it up with your final words. Yes.
our major person is our presidential candidate, and therefore we expect to be able to look into the books and see and make sure that.
Do you have parliamentary candidates?
That's what I'm saying. I just said our major candidate. Yes, we have.
Okay.
We have independent parliamentary candidates.
Independent.
Yes, and we are hoping to get at least 30.
I see.
Yes.
Not butterfly.
No, 30. We have independent candidates. Okay. So out of that, so it's just imperative that we also get involved in the process.
Right.
So by all means, so far the EC has been calling political parties, and since we are a movement and we are an independent entity, we also expect that they would reach out to us and also make it available to us to look through. So for that, we would want to look through it and we would participate. In fact, we are actually ready to observe all those things. Yeah.
All right.
It's in order, yes, the EC has released the register. In fact, they told us that we'll be receiving it last week, Wednesday. It didn't happen, Friday didn't happen. But all the same, it is now here. You know, the political parties wanted it early before the exhibition exercise, so that at least you can also scrutinize it well before, but we couldn't get that time, that luxury of time. But all the same, we had it yesterday, we are going through it, and today being the exhibition, we've told our constituency executives to try at least one of few centers, go and observe what is happening there. So yes, the election is in gear. We, the Convention People's Party, we are ready for it. As I said earlier, 31st August, we are going to elect our formidable flag bearer. Whoever emerges is a force to reckon with. Now,
Is it you?
You said?
Is it you?
No, it's not me. Certainly
It's
not
not
me.
40 years.
Okay.
I'm not learning from Auntie Rhoda, the senior commission. You see, now I just want to make an appeal to our brothers, sisters in the NDC and NPP. They should let the EC work. Sometimes we all see the mistake, we bash them. But the mistrust is becoming too much. At least we should give them the benefit of doubt. Now we all know. Look, if you want to do any pollution, we don't know where the pollution starts from. So let's tackle those areas. And together we are in it, all of us, all the opposition parties, including the NDC. We all know where the pollution can happen. So we'll tackle those areas. For me, I believe that, look, it's about time we just give them benefit of doubt to do their job. And I can assure you, they cannot do anything to remanufacture any figures. The verdict will be so clear that they cannot do anything to save anybody's fees. So it's just an appeal that we should let the EC work. We are with them. When they make mistakes, we'll point it out to them and tell them that you did wrong. When they're also doing it right, we'll give them thumbs up. So that's it.
You can't give them the benefit
Exactly.
of that because we know the caliber of people who have been placed in leadership at the East. We know TESCOM patrons, we know political commentators, we know political evangelists who have all been set up there as commissioners of the East. So there's no way we can give them the benefit of that. In fact, it would be stupid and suicidal on the part of the NDC to close its eyes and go to...
No, I'm not saying close your eyes.
Because we give them the benefit.
No, don't close your eyes. No, but that one.
It is not even...
No, but don't presume that they are going to cheat or going to steal the election. That is what I'm saying.
Hey, we have to. Every incumbent administration...
Because they can't do it.
They can't. Incumbent administration is a potential thief of an election.
As you're going in,
You can go
So,
and vote,
is it-
and if you have a stubborn leader who says that are not hand over power, share.
Unless, as you said, unless they are
Especially when this
I used to
old
live in-
president
Yeah, go to
says
Monica.
that he's going to hand over to Baumia by whatever means.
Gabby.
I want to entreat every single Ghanaian to go and verify and make sure that their names are on the register. If you know you can't go to your polling center, sacrifice a few pesos and check the short code.
Oh, I think
Google it.
I used to have the short code. I don't know.
Get the short code, check for your details, make sure it is there. That is your visa to exiting Akufo-Addo's administration. And this NPP Baumia led Napo in tow. Out, I need to hear in tow. In tow as in English language. In tow, out of office. This country needs a break from corruption, nepotism, greed, state capture, selfishness, blatant disregard for the common man, the liberties of individual Ghanaians, and consistently denying people their daily living. A government who pledged on the constitution that I will maximize the welfare of my citizens, but has impoverished the Ghanaian. For every time that the city depreciates,
We'll test register.
every time the city depreciates,
That is my problem.
for every time the city depreciates, we push more and more people into poverty. Everybody's standard of living, except those whose fathers give them 510 million contracts to go and repair ambulances. Everybody's standard of living deteriorates. This country has no choice than to go to the polls December 7th and vote out the NPP massively. Ohima, this December election, it is one for the heart of this nation. And as a Democrat, and an Nkrumahist plus a nationalist,
That's right.
and a patriot,
That's right.
Equal to.
this particular election
That's right.
is one that I've taken as a personal agenda.
Of all of us.
The NPP, come with me,
They must go.
they must go.
But the replacement.
And Akufo-Addo's administration has to be held accountable. And if NDC also comes, and Mahama fails to hold Akufo-Addo's administration accountable, I will also go and hold Mahama accountable.
Noted. Very well said. Our panelists
I always
have
say we all agree
intelligently contributed to today's conversation. Yeah.
replacement
We are very grateful for your time for today. Let me read these messages.
In fact, of all the members on their register, they can't even identify one person.
All right, this one says, hi
taking nomination from.
Kindly inform the NDC that we just heard the MPP and Alan's messages while waiting for their own. Ghanaians are not really interested in more promises without accomplishing them. We need to have strategic vision and promises for this country. Otherwise, we are all doomed. Please, NSA Agbozalu from Akuse. All right, let me read this one. Good morning.
We'll mesmerize you.
All right. Good morning, ACHIAA. I think MPP is not ashamed of themselves. See what they are telling us. Again, MPP, again, Mahama Solutions. This one says, good morning, Ohema. Let's put the squarely at the doorstep of Baumia. Nanado did not know anything about economy, so brought him and chanted about him to come rescue us. But what happened? Let's vote for Mahama. His solutions seem to be the ones to reset the country. Thank you so much for joining in our conversation. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Gabi. Thank you, Irimambo. Thank you, Auntie Rhoda. And to you for watching and being a part of this conversation. Thank you so much. Let me do this one for my colleague here, George Vinay. He's wishing Belinda Na Ohenewa Efriye Ankra on her 25th birthday. Your daddy says happy birthday. She is the daughter of Honorable Elvis Efriye Ankra, former director of elections from the NDC. Thank you so much once again. My name is AGYEKUM. See you tomorrow.